Hello guys and welcome to race 2 of the SBR Megane trophy, brought to you in association with PJ Parcels for all your bespoke delivery and collection needs. Let's take a look at the reverse grid for race 1, and we see Mark, who's unable to start unfortunately, so it's actually going to be Brian from Jamie, Declan, Luke, Nick, Ryan, Matt, Ollie and Jamie there at the rear after his race 1 victory. So the rolling start for the reverse grid race gives Brian a real good chance now to pull away as the lights go out, and he is away nice and early. It's a nice easy lead into turn 1 for him. It gives him that chance just to pull that a little bit further away if he can. Looks like Jamie's slipping back to Declan a little bit. He's a little bit wide at the hairpin unfortunately, and it has cost him. Declan up into second, Jamie down to third with Luke all over the rear, and already we've got Ollie harassing Matt at the rear, trying to get up through the pack nice and early if he can. Jordan not able to make as many inroads towards Ollie as he probably would have liked in this early stage. As we see the pack go through, Ryan there almost in a no man's land early area if you like. Now Jordan right on the back of Ollie. Can he make a move early on? Make sure that Ollie doesn't get too far away, just in case he doesn't make a mistake like he did in race 1. And now we've got Declan now challenging Brian for the lead as we come round Sheen towards the end of lap 1 already. Declan looking all over the place, 2 wheels on the grass, trying to get that inside line into the final corner. But Brian's holding strong. He just tries that a little bit later on the brakes, but has pushed him out wide into the final corner. It's going to allow Brian to lead the first lap over the line. Fantastic for Brian, keeping the position. And now Nick's been caught by Ryan and has dropped back behind Ryan. And now Ollie's going to have a go up the inside into the hairpin. Is he going to have the position off of Nick? He is. Nick doing exactly the same thing as what he did in race 1, just going backwards at the start. Something's not right with those cold tyres for him. He can't be enjoying that early doors. And now we've got Declan trying to challenge Brian again down the back straight on the Grand Prix circuit. He's up alongside Brian this time. Nudge, nudge, nudge. They just about keep it on the circuit. No, Brian runs that little bit wide. 2 wheels on the grass. He comes back on a bit aggressively into the rear quarter panel. I did not like that move, he says. But unfortunately, that has lost the position. Declan out into first place now. That's Ryan sideways, a little bit wide. And then we flick towards Brian here, who's gone wide himself as well into the gravel trap. Keeps it pointing just about in a straight line. Rejoins the pack with Nick, Matt, Ryan it looks like, who's rejoined there, and Jordan. Yeah, he's unfortunately lost all 3 positions there to all of those drivers. Brian will be kicking himself knowing that mistake has been that costly for him, unfortunately, as Ollie's now up behind Luke, challenging away for second place now. Flicks to the inside of Luke, grabs the position nice and early. That's going to give him a good chance. So we go 3 wide into the hairpin. That's Jamie, that's Ryan, that's Matt. 3 wide into the hairpin. They just about come out in single file. Jordan making it wide with Jamie though. Jamie a little bit wide out of Graham Hill bend, but keeps the place off of Jordan. Jordan's certainly going to have a look. Brian's got back in front of Nick. It's that cold tyres again, although it should be quite warm now. Some issues already for Nick by the looks of it. And Jordan's going to have a go now at Jamie down the start finish straight as we ride on board with Ryan, who's challenging Matt. A slight nudge up the rear, but Matt keeps, oh no he doesn't, he's off out wide, but keeps the position, almost gains a bit of speed, but does put him a little bit wide. Another tap from Ryan up the backside of Matt. You see in the rearview mirror, Jordan's now ahead of Jamie. Matt's wide in Sheen. That's put him in the gravel, unfortunately. That's going to cost Matt dearly. Semi-spin. Drops him right the way down through the field. Ryan off and away. Jamie's got back ahead of Jordan this time. We missed that. Could have seen that in the rearview mirror. But missed that massively. But but certainly a massive gain there for Ryan. Jamie's off out wide. He's just run wide on that last corner and spun on the start-finish straight, unfortunately. His recovery starts straight away, though. He's back onto the back of Brian. Down the back straight of the Grand Prix circuit, trying to go up the inside. Thinks better of it. These two were battling nicely in last season's Megane series. So they've got a lot of respect for each other, these two. Jamie probably one of the cleanest drivers within the league. Fantastic to see. As we now see that Ollie has caught Declan for the lead. Declan spends the penalty over the start-finish line. It gives Ollie a good chance to get away in the lead. With Jordan struggling a little bit further back, that could give Ollie enough chance to get away and get a decent lead. As we look back and talking to Jordan, he's all over the rear end of Ryan. Ryan giving Jordan that little bit of room on the inside. It does make sure he's got the apex and the inside line for Graham Hill Bend, but he doesn't need it. He doesn't need that extra space. And we see Matt off out wide again, unfortunately, into the gravel at Paddock Hill Bend. Matt doing a Dylan this race and visiting the gravel a couple of times over. And now Jamie's up ahead of Brian. Brian obviously seeing Matt going off and thinking twice about going hard into the first corner. As we shoot back up towards the battle of Ryan and Jordan, fighting it out here, I believe now for third place. Jordan stalking, he just cannot find a way past, can he? This is actually a battle for fourth. I do apologise, because we've got Luke and Declan just behind Ollie, fighting for second and third, and these two, bumper to bumper, they've almost been inseparable for about 3-4 laps now. And it looks like Jordan's got a bit of a run this time, going towards the last corner. Can he carry the momentum round the corner, up the start and finish straight, and have a go into turn one? We shall see. In the slipstream, nice and early, keeping it there, right on the rear bumper. Thinks about it again, decides against it, takes a slightly wider line from Ryan, down Paddock Hill Bend and up into the hairpin. But Ryan's actually pulled away a bit, but he misses the braking point, runs wide. That's allowed Jordan up the inside. Can Ryan keep it there on the inside for the Graham Hill Bend? Just about, but this is actually allowing that's Nick in the background, giving Nick a chance to catch the two of them together. Ryan just about ahead of Jordan. Jordan trying his luck round the outside, going out onto the Grand Prix circuit. Nick making it 3 wide, thinking about it. Decides to fall back, does he? No, Ryan's fallen back, so Nick's going to pick up the slipstream of Jordan. Trying to go round the outside here of Ryan. Just about enough racing room. Ryan slots in between the two of them. Jordan's now just starting to pull away that little bit away from Brian now. Now he's been released. And we go back to Jamie and Brian still fighting together. Brilliant to see these two so closely matched still. As Brian's a little bit wide, he's spun again, unfortunately. It's Sheen. That's an awful corner if you do get it wrong. And we've got Declan now losing out to Luke at turn 1. Luke up into second place now. Gives him a chance to try and chase down Ollie, although he seems to have just disappeared off into the distance. Unfortunately, we're not seeing a huge amount of Ollie with all these battles going on throughout the rest of the pack, even though it is a slightly diminished grid for race 2, unfortunately. Luke there now in second place, grabbing a bit of a lead now off of Declan, it looks like. Back onto the back straight of the Grand Prix circuit. It looks like Declan has actually got the slipstream, and it's going to pull him up closer and closer and closer to Luke again as they go round the right-hander. And no, he thinks better of it. Good idea to pull out at the last minute there of that move. That's not an ideal overtaking spot, certainly if you haven't got someone who's prepared to join you in the move. But he's going to sit in the slipstream, use it down this straight. Can he get the inside line into the last corner? He's already pulled out. Is he up alongside? Has he got enough of a run? Just about. Luke just giving him enough room. and Declan grabs second place back from Luke. These two fighting away. It's just going to allow Ollie to disappear further up the road. And now Nick with Ryan fighting away. It's Ryan off out wide. I think that might have been a little bit of a touch there from Nick, putting Ryan out on the grass. A flash there of the hazard light says thank you. Let's take a look at the replay and see what actually happened there. Yes, slight touch going in, and then another. Oh, Ryan's very slow on the exit. That just allowed Nick to touch him up the backside and pushed him off out onto the grass. But Nick easing off the throttle nice and early, giving Ryan that space. As we see that Luke's now trying to go round the outside of Declan. Luke got the inside line, but where these two have been fighting pretty much for 3 straight laps, Jordan has caught them very, very quickly. Luke's going to take second place. Jordan sees the opportunity to go up the inside of Declan. Does he grab third place off of Declan across the start and finish line? He's alongside already. He's got the inside line. And yes, just about grabs second place. His eyes are going to be firmly onto Luke now, as Nick and Ryan battle it out, and Ryan's just put 2 wheels on the grass. Can he keep it in a straight line? Just about. But does hand the place to Nick. As we go back to Luke and Jordan and Declan all fighting it out for second place, and it looks like it'll only be second place for the finish unless some miracle happens and someone can either catch Ollie or Ollie makes an unfortunate mistake. But Jordan's there up the inside of Luke there to take second place, but Luke's not going to give it up easy. He's going to try and battle it all the way down the straight back into the slipstream. Pulls out from behind Jordan, but Jordan goes, nope, I'm having this. I'm going to go and hunt down Ollie. Can he do anything about that huge gap? We will have to wait and see. But he is now clearly into second place and pulling away from Luke quite quickly. Much quicker car, much happier, and it's actually cost him. He's run wide in Sheen. It's put him back into the grass of Luke as we return down the straight towards the last corner. Luke's pulled out already to go round the outside this time. Declan's up the inside of Luke, and Declan's actually going to take advantage and take the position off of Luke. And this time, Declan's going to have a look at Jordan as they go down towards the start-finish line and into the braking zone of turn number 1 yet again. Luke up the inside very, very quickly, but that's pushing him out wide, and he's going to go wide. Is he into the gravel? Almost, not quite. But as soon as he gained the position, he lost it back almost straight away to Declan. Declan now, unfortunately, out wide there in the chase of Jordan. That's going to push him back that little bit, back towards Luke again. 2 wheels into the gravel there as well, and that has given Luke a massive run up the outside in Sheen, and that's put Luke out onto the grass. These two battling that hard that Nick is now actually catching them. And now Nick's in the slipstream and actually moved to the outside of Luke already. He says, if you two want to battle and push each other on the grass, that's not a problem. I will have a piece of that, and I will come and join you guys. Nick now in the slipstream of Luke along the start and finish straight. Declan spending a penalty early, it looks like. That's actually pushed him a little bit wide, has it? A little bit slower, certainly, out of Paddock Hill Bend, as Ryan's a little bit wide and skitty, putting 2 wheels onto the gravel. Nick's up the inside of Luke. He says, yes, thank you very much. I shall have 4th place, and set his sights quite clearly onto Declan, pulling away from Luke a little bit already. And Ryan's come to join the party as well. Almost got 4 cars here now battling for the final podium spot. We have got Declan, who's got that little bit of advantage over Nick, followed by Luke, and then Ryan just behind Luke as they go back out towards the rear of the circuit, the Grand Prix circuit. Not used as much as it could be nowadays, unfortunately, but it's lovely to see these Meganes coming out here along the fast section. It suits these superbly, as we see Ryan trying to go towards the inside there of Luke, was it? Did he make this move stick? I'm not so sure, but Nick's now trying to put a bit of pressure onto Declan. Declan a little bit more safe round Sheen. That certainly has allowed Nick to close right up to the rear bumper within a lap of Declan. in the slipstream down into the final corner. Just the slight brake, and then back on the throttle. Third, fourth gear maybe. Along the start and finish straight. Nick right up in the slipstream of Declan this time. Which way is he going to go? He's going to go towards the inside. He's got the move done nice and early. Can he keep the momentum? Can he grab it back into the inside just to fend off that switchback? And he does do it. He does keep the position off of Declan. And I think, yes, we did see Luke going off wide into the gravel. Unfortunately, again, at turn 1, that's allowed Ryan up into 5th place and dropped Luke back that little bit further, unfortunately. And now we see Declan saying to himself, I must catch Nick, I must catch Nick, I want that 3rd place back, I want that podium finish. But Nick seems to be just getting that little bit of an edge as Ryan focuses on the rear bumper. Can he do anything about catching up for 4th place in this race? We shall have to see. But he is fast running out of laps, but that's going to help him massively as Declan's run wide, and that's going to give Ryan 4th place. That's really pushed Declan back. Luckily there's a big enough gap for him to fall back into, and I believe still grab 5th place there. As we see Ollie coming round the final few corners out of Sheen, out of the left-hander, down the straight once more towards the braking zone for the final corner. He's hardly been touched this race. He's driven a complete masterclass. Round the final corner, giving the wide line a very wide berth, and across the line to take victory in race 2 there. And then second, Jordan, he tried his best to try and catch him, but no doing on that one, unfortunately. 3rd place, his best ever result in the Megane League for Nick, followed by Ryan in 4th. Fantastic driving. Declan did recover to 5th place after that spin at Sheen. Luke, who had a few trips into the gravel there, just spending his penalty across the finish line, with Matt doing the same thing right at the end of the race. Jamie recovering well. Such a shame to see the start he had, running wide and losing those spots early on. But they're recovering well across the line. And then Brian, who's done well, recovered well as well. A couple of spins for him and a nice little battle in the middle of the race with Jamie across the line to finish the race. So we see Ollie wins there from Jordan, from Nick, then Ryan, then Declan, Luke, Matt and Jamie there in 8th. We go to the rear. I say the rear. The last driver was Brian there, with everyone else unfortunately not starting the race due to some form of issues. Hopefully have a larger grid next time out. Let's take a look at the championship standings then. And we see that Jordan and Ollie level on points, and then joint third is Nick and Ryan, with Luke, Declan, Matt and Jamie all quite closely packed there for 5th onwards, and obviously Brian there still quite close, and then Mark and Dylan picking up a few points at the end. We hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you soon for round 2 at the Red Bull Ring in Austria.